The European Union treats us very badly. They have for years. I saw that. I had it out with them in my first term. It did well, but we had to solve other problems, and we did. But European Union's been very tough, and it's our turn too. You know, we get a turn at that also. But they have not been fair. They sue our companies and win massive amounts of money. They sued Apple, won $17 billion, and they use that for other reasons, I guess, or to run the European Union. So I'm not knocking it. They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them. Nobody can complain about that. Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter what it is. If they charge us 25 or 20% or 10% or 2% or 200%, then that's what we're charging them. And so I don't know why people get upset about that, because there's nothing more fair than that.
Well, our Ireland correspondent Stephen Murphy was in the Oval Office for that meeting. He joins me now live. So on this issue of tariffs and trade, Donald Trump not happy with Ireland, certainly not happy with the EU.
Look, in any other St. Patrick's week, this would have been regarded as an almost unimaginably confrontational encounter between the Taoiseach, the Irish Prime Minister, and the sitting US President. We don't usually get the kind of rhetoric in the Oval Office on these occasions, but I can tell you that the Irish delegation will be leaving the Oval Office and the White House after that particular meeting really feeling that they got away pretty lightly, because time and time again throughout that 51-minute encounter, we saw the Irish really getting away with a lot of the criticism that they were worried would be directed their way by Trump. And instead, we saw him focusing his ire over and over again on the Brussels bogeyman, on talking about how the EU was to blame for so much of the abuse, the economic abuse that the United States is currently facing. He did bring up the large trade deficit in goods that the US has with Ireland. It stands at around $80 million, according to the US side, around €50 million if you believe the Irish statistics. But he clearly hinted that something would need to be done about that. But again and again, he even used the example of his golf resort, saying that the Irish were so efficient in approving his expansion plans for that. But when it came to the EU, it was going to take him between 5 and 7 years to get that through. He railed against the EU time and time again. So obviously, with the announcement of a new raft of measures from Brussels in response to the steel and aluminium tariffs that Trump has brought in, I was able to ask the president, well, what was next in terms of the tariffs and basically the US being taken advantage of. This is what he told us. Will you put more tariffs on the EU? Will you respond to their retaliation?
Oh, of course I'm going to respond.
You will retaliate.
The problem is our country didn't respond. Look, the EU was set up in order to take advantage of the United States.
Including Ireland? Is Ireland taking advantage of the US?
Of course they are. I can't, I have great respect for Ireland and what they did. And they should have done just what they did. But the United States shouldn't have let it happen. We had stupid leaders. We had leaders that didn't have a clue. Or let's say they weren't business people, but they didn't have a clue what was happening. I'm not happy with the European Union, I want to tell you. And,
will you put tariffs on
we're
cars?
going to win that. We're going to win that financial battle. It's a financial battle.
European cars, Mr. President? Tariffs on European cars? Is that something you're going to consider?
Oh, absolutely. I will do that. Yeah.
Mr. President,
think of it. They have millions of cars coming in. Millions and millions of cars. One of probably the largest. Japan's very big too. But and they don't accept our cars. We make great cars. They don't have our cars, but we have their cars. They don't have our farm products. We have the greatest farmers in the world. They don't accept our farm products, so we accept theirs.
So, of course, he says, Ireland is taking advantage of the US, something that no US president has ever said in one of these meetings. But could you sense it? There was almost a sneaking admiration from Trump, the businessman. He said he respected Ireland and what they have done in terms of luring lucrative US multinationals to Ireland to pay billions of dollars in tax. And he blamed the stupid leaders that the US previously had. So it was almost a sneaking admiration for what the Irish have managed to get away with, even though he now will turn his attention on how to rectify that and make it more of a two-way street. It was a very wide-ranging presser, as so often it is with Donald Trump. He touched on transgenderism, on Conor McGregor playing golf with Rory McIlroy as well, on the key issue of Russia and that deal. He remained fairly tight-lipped, and he said he wouldn't be commenting on his plans to speak directly and pitch that deal to President Putin. So we'll have to wait and see what the next development is there.